Oh, hi there. We've all been there, getting a task and jumping straight into being fucked up designing mockups. No worries about missing details, an incomplete client brief, or the chaos without the team. And with this formula, going from task to mockup was always a long and messy journey. In the end, things would get stressful not just for me but for the whole team. In reality, this often happens. The design process drags on, the lines get tight, and the final result might not fully satisfy the client, leading to even more issues. With a well-structured design process, the workflow becomes more linear and predictable. It's important as for product team as design studios. Let's talk about the design process and what it actually is. For me, it's like a canvas hanging in front of you during a project. I can glance at it anytime to understand where I am, align with a bigger goal, or even take a step back if needed. I think of it as a step-by-step board where you see point A and point B, knowing exactly what stages you need to go through to defeat the final boss and successfully launch the project. So, what does understanding the design process give a designer? It provides a clear and predictable workflow. I always know where I am in the process, what's expected of me at each stage, and what's needed to move forward to the next step. We do not dive straight into designing or rush to create a mockup. Unfortunately, a single visual concept won't solve the problem, especially in the world of interface design. And of course, if you want more money, and this is one of the most important topics in interviews, it's logical a designer who understands what they're doing and why is much more valuable than one who just jumps straight into designing screens. What types of tasks actually require a design process? And when is it just a quick fix? Sometimes we just need to tweak something, round the button, adjust the margins. What did I say, man? Adjust margins and paddings. Or refine text styles. These kind of changes don't require deep analysis or measurable data. Medium-sized task within a large product, like managing employees' view cards, could involve developing a new feature for managing companies' branches. It requires a structured approach but remains part of the existing system. Large product is like breaking open a watermelon. It consists of many medium-sized tasks. For example, developing a management system for a few cards from scratch. And when it comes to medium and big tasks, we need a proper design process. Without it, we're screwed. But with a tiny ass task, we can just dive in and fix things on the fly. So, what does the design process consist of? Today, I will be sharing insights about the double diamond framework. The process is built on two key principles. First, identifying the right problem, and second, finding the correct solution to that problem. Our primary focus is understanding who our users are and what issues we are ultimately solving for them. This framework looks something like this: two diamonds with point A as a start and point B as a finish. Our goal is to move from A to B and then start the process again if needed. Following this formula, we define the problem and find a solution. It will all make sense in a moment. We start by understanding the problem, briefing the client, defining the task, and moving into research. At this stage, we gather a large amount of diverse information. From this research, we generate possible solutions, gradually narrowing down the options until we reach the clear direction. Once we define the solution, we move into execution. Throughout this process, we align with the client or design lead to ensure we are on the right track. Then comes the design phase, which is a major step. If needed, we conduct testing or design reviews to refine our approach. Next, we finalize the design concept, adapt it for all necessary screens, and hand it off for development and release. Since this is an iterative process, we can always return to testing or research to refine the further solution. To sum it up, this process is cyclical. The key stages of the design process are understanding the problem, conducting research, generating possible solutions, and developing the solution. So let's dive deeper into each stage. The first step is understanding the task. Understand what's happening inside client's head. At this stage, we conduct a briefing to analyze business needs, goals, and user problems we aim to solve. By gathering these insights, we build a clear understanding of the task from both the business and user perspectives. Understanding tasks is a complex process structured around key parameters, initial inputs or introductory, mission, goal, and audience. Initial inputs, for example, we need to develop a new service for managing employees' fuel cards, integrating essential features via API. While the mission defines the user problem we solve. Let's say we want user will get convenient and efficient experience. The business goal is to increase revenue through user engagement, retention, and customer growth. From this, let's establish success criteria. And let's remember we talk about medium-sized company. Increase user engagement more than 4%, improve customer retention by 3%, and gain more than 10% new customers within 6 months post-launch. We validate this through quantitative testing and analytics after this. Next, we move on to research and market analysis. With clear understanding of the task, we begin benchmarking, analyzing existing solutions, identifying their strengths and weaknesses. And using these insights, we develop a unique and improved approach. For me, this process looks like this. I capture screens of existing products, list the necessary features, identify the useful and redundant ones, analyze their strengths and weaknesses, and based on this, we develop a unique solution. A tool like Mobit can be incredibly useful here, and I highly recommend it. You can search for any scenario and explore existing solutions. It's been on the market for a long time, and you can use it in your research. Next, we move on to solution generation. After all the research, we have a list of features to implement first as MVP, but we also have some other features which you also might add to stand out from the crowd. And now it's about deciding which ones are most viable, which should come first, and which might not be worth pushing. There are many tools, but I prefer impact effort matrix. Gather your team, managers, developers, designers, and assess all functions. Set them as needed and take most valuable, which you go first. After that, we move on to designing the user flow, building a low-fidelity prototype, and outlining all the functionality. This helps map out interactions, showing where users will go when they click on something, and how they will interact and achieve key business goals. To stay on track, we can also schedule a call with the client to clarify any details. Then comes testing, where we validate whether we're on the right path or not. This can be done through qualitative or quantitative research, depending on the situation. Mostly companies use qualitative usability testing. Mostly it's just you as a researcher, tasks, and 1-2 realistic participants in each audience. 6 is enough. This stage highlights potential issues and helps us see how users interact with the product in real life, which often differs from our initial assumptions. If everything is right, go further. After that, we move on to design phase, but only after finalizing the prototype. This is when we define the design concept and align it with the design lead and client. If we had very poor and non-detailed prototype, this will include typography, layout, style, and UI elements, while keeping this logic untouched. Once approved, we adapt the design for different devices, add components to the design system, or create one if it doesn't exist, but without overcomplicating things to release faster. And next comes development. At this stage, we hand off designs to developers and collaborate closely to ensure proper implementation. As designers, we monitor quality, but without being overly rigid. Finally, we launch and analyze the results. Use these insights to refine and evolve the experience. This brings us back to the double diamond framework. Continuously improving the product. Alright, let's wrap it up. The design process makes your job way easier. And man, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you!